Okay, folks, in this video we're going to cover the magic wand tool now. Okay, and for this demonstration, let's choose a different color. I'm sorry, not color, but a picture. So let me grab my Photoshop class files folder, and for this demonstration, let's go with not Taft, the tiles here. Okay, so I'm going to grab my tiles picture and drag it up to the tab space up here and let go and open it up. Okay, with the magic wand tool, which I have selected right now, it's located here right under the lasso. We actually have two tools nested together. One is the magic tool and one is quick selection tool. Um, I'll show you the quick selection tool, but for the most part, I rarely use quick selection. I mainly stick with the magic wand tool. Okay, most people use the magic wand tool, so we'll spend a lot of time with this. What the magic wand tool does is, depending where on the picture you click, or more specifically, which color, wherever you click, whatever the color is where you click, Photoshop will take a look at this number here, at the tolerance number, and depending where you click, whatever pixel you click on, Photoshop will take this number here, 30. Uh, Mine just so happens to be 30 right now. And whatever pixel or the color of your pixel that you click on here in the picture, Photoshop will look at 30 shades brighter of the color you click on and 30 shades darker um, of the color you click on, and select whatever is in that, I guess you could say, bracket, right? And you folks may be saying, what do you mean by which pixel I pick on or I click on? Of course, as I mentioned before, all of these pictures are made out of pixels. If you remember, when the video I was showing you folks about the resolution being 72 when you first creating your document, you could do the width, height, and resolution, and I told you folks to leave it at 72. That's the amount of pixels per inch. So this particular picture here, you got 72 pixels within a 1 inch by 1 inch area. It's just that the pixels are so small that you can't see it. But I'll show you the pixels right now, real quickly, just to illustrate my point. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'll teach you folks how to zoom in later. Okay? So I'm zooming in to the picture here. If I keep zooming in, you see how the picture becomes pixels now? So depending on what pixel, each of these squares are pixels. So depending on what pixel I select, Photoshop will take the 30 next pixels or shades of that color. So say if I click on this blue pixel right here, Photoshop will look at 30 shades brighter of that blue, so 30 shades of blue brighter, and 30 shades of blue darker than this particular shade of blue, and select any of these pixels that come within that bracket. Okay, so 30 shades brighter than this blue or 30 shades darker than this blue. If one of these blue pixels falls within that category, Photoshop will select it. So to see it in action, let me zoom back out. And make a selection. Let's go ahead with this piece of tile right here. It's light blue tile. So I'll just click somewhere here. And you notice it made a nice clean selection, because wherever I clicked was somewhere around here. That means all of the pixels that make up this shade of blue, light blue, fall within that category. Now, of course, if I zoom in, the next color next to it is sort of like a blackish color, which probably falls outside of the 30 pixel range of whatever blue I clicked in here. So of course, Photoshop is going to put the selection line right before it. To illustrate that, I'm going to zoom in once more just to show you folks. Let me bring that in here. Okay, so now we're at the pixel level. So if I scroll up, so as you can see here, these pixels, I guess, fall outside of the 30 pixel range of the light blue that was clicked. So Photoshop will make a best guess estimate and put the selection line between the two colors. So that's what the magic wand does. Okay, when there's a separation of color like this dark blue and the black, Photoshop will automatically put a selection line in between the two colors. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Now, one time you'll probably have a hard time making a selection, if you folks haven't guessed by now, is when there's multiple colors in a same area. Yeah, like for example, this tile right here, you got a little bit yellow, orange, red, different shades of red and orange. So if you wanted to select this tile right here, it'd be pretty difficult to do if you use the magic wand. The magic wand is more suited to be used to select items that have more or less a solid color, like here, or even like here. See, even here it's having difficulty determining between the darkest shade of blue and the black grout or the black line. Let's try this. See, over here is a little bit easier for it. Here too, and here. Okay. Photoshop is probably having a difficult time because there's this little light blue stripe here, and then another stripe of dark blue that matches this. So maybe that's why it's having a difficult time. Okay. Now if I try to click in here, as you can see, we have so much different colors that Photoshop is having a difficult time trying to select the whole tile. If I click the yellow here, Photoshop got the yellow, but if your goal was to select the whole tile, then excuse me, the magic wand may not be the tool for that situation. So as you can see, the different selection tools here come into play depending on what you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to select tiles, and the tiles are solid color, like this, the magic wand is perfect. Quick, fast, and efficient. But if you're trying to select tiles like these with multiple colors, looks like the polygonal lasso tool or even the regular lasso tool is preferable. Now, I would recommend the polygonal lasso tool in this situation because the regular lasso tool is a freehand lasso tool. So unless you got a steady hand, let me demonstrate. Unless you got a steady hand, you might go like that or like that. You might not get a really good, solid, clean line. Okay? So let me deselect. With the polygonal lasso tool, where you have to click a point and then click other points. When you have sharp edges or hard line edges like this, rather than soft edges, meaning round or organic shape edges like an egg or something, this is the perfect tool to use. You get the selection without the hassle. So the magic Magic Wand tool here is perfect for solid colors. Um, Let me pull another picture in. Let's go with, you know what, I'll go with Joshua Tree after. Let's go with DC first. Okay, so I'm gonna pull the DC picture in here from my folder. Now this is a great way to show you the Magic Wand tool. Say for example you want to select the sky here in the picture. Now as you folks notice, there's a dark portion of the sky and a lighter portion where the sun probably is. Now if you make a selection, say somewhere on the blue of the sky that is neither dark nor bright, maybe in the middle, then you might be able to get most of the sky in here. So let's try that. I'm going to click right about here. Okay, so I didn't get the entire sky. This portion is unselected, as well as a little bit here, and it looks like a cloud was it selected. Now in a situation like this, where you got most of the sky selected, that means all you have to do is adjust the tolerance. Remember this number here? Tolerance? We're set at 30 right now. If we up the tolerance, change the number to a higher number, that'll allow more pixels to be selected. Remember what I said, whatever pixel you click on initially, Photoshop, as it is right now, will select 30 shades of that, in this case blue, 30 shades brighter blue, and 30 shades darker blue of whatever blue you set in the beginning, okay? And that entire bracket from the darkest blue to the brightest, if it's within this picture, any of those shades, Photoshop will select it. I'm just guessing that whatever blue is here is outside of that threshold or that bracket. So if we expand the bracket by 50, for example, that means whatever blue I click on, or whatever pixel of blue I click on here, 50, Photoshop will look at 50 shades brighter and 50 shades darker of that blue, rather than just 30 as it is now. Okay, so I'm going to click off to the side here to deselect, and I'm going to change the 30 to 50. Type in 50, hit enter. Now let's click somewhere around here again, and there you go. Clean selection all the way around, and that was fast. I'm sure you folks would agree that doing it that way versus, let me go ahead and deselect, selecting the sky that way versus using the polygonal lasso tool. Now the polygonal lasso tool would go fast if I started, say, from here, and I went here, then here, then here. But once I got to here, I would have to trace along the Capitol building. So I would have to click, click, click. Already it's taking way longer than what I did for the Magic Wand, right? So I don't want to do that. Okay. So let me go ahead and deselect. So now you folks know what I mean by choose the selection tool, whether it be the marquee, the lasso, or the Magic Wand, depending on what you want to cut out and how difficult it would be to cut out, while keeping in mind how each of the tools work. So in this case, the lasso tools aren't the tool you really want to use. In this case, the Magic Wand tool, having most of a blue sky, maybe a little bit difference in colors, but for the most part it's blue, is the preferable selection tool to use to select the sky. And of course, like with all selection tools, You can either cut out, you can delete the sky. If I hit delete on my keyboard now, I keep making that mistake. You guys must be laughing. I know I am. That's embarrassing. Sorry for that. To delete the sky, for the Mac users, you got to come up to edit, clear. All right, there you go. Delete the sky. Um, I believe even for you PC guys, you guys could go, you know, edit, clear. Okay, so let me undo that. Now, say you wanted to cut out the capital. Remember, we do have select inverse, folks. So, although we selected the sky, this is a perfect opportunity to select the inverse if you just wanted to cut out the capital. So I do have my sky selected. You see the dotted dancing line here. So if I right click, select inverse. Select inverse is a little bit lower on this menu because the magic wand tool has these other options. I'm not really going to get into these for our lessons. You can fool around with these on your own. But select inverse. We do that. Now the capital is selected. So if I get my move tool, we can cut out the capital. Okay. So sometimes you folks have to do a little bit critical thinking, right? Um, I'm sure a lot of you folks didn't think that by selecting the sky, I would be able to, cut out the capital because I'm selecting the sky. So you folks probably are thinking I'm just going to work with the sky. But if you think a little bit outside of the box, you folks could do select inverse and it's be able to cut out the capital. So there are going to be situations like that where you folks will want to cut out something. It's a little bit difficult. If I were to try to cut this out with the magic lasso tool, as you folks saw, and my goal was to originally cut out the capital, it's difficult. But because we were lucky in having a blue sky, we could use the magic wand to select the sky, do a select inverse, and cut out the capital that way. Okay? So it requires a little bit of critical thinking, but at least you folks get the gist of what I'm trying to show you here. Now let's try the Joshua tree pick. Here we go, Joshua tree. Drag that to my tab area. Okay, so we got a nice picture of a girl on the rocks here with a nice blue sky. Of course, you see that the sky is darker and it gradually gets to a lighter blue as it comes towards the bottom right hand corner. Probably, as you folks can see, the sun is in this corner. You can tell because the shadows are on this side and the highlights are on this side, meaning the sun is coming down this way. Got a little bit of the moon there. So let's try using the magic wand. Of course, you couldn't use the rectangular murky tool. We want to select the sky, but of course, inconveniently, there's rocks and a person here, so we can't use this because it only cuts out rectangle shape. So we can't cut out this shape here with using that tool. So that tool's out. We could try using them, the polygonal lasso tool, right? But then we would have to trace by clicking here and there all over, and it's time consuming. Okay, nobody wants to do that. So let's go with the magic wand because we got a nice big blue sky here. So let's try it. Let's click on the sky and looks like we got it all except for the moon. Looks like the moon we didn't get. And also it looks like there's a piece of sky here between the gap of the rocks. Okay. Remember what I said, we can always add to a selection. Okay. Doesn't matter which tool you're using, whether it be the marquee tool here, the lasso tool, or even the magic wand. You can always add to a selection. Let's add the moon first, which is right there. You can see it's not selected because it has the dotted lines dancing around it. Remember, to add to a selection, hold down the shift and left mouse click. To subtract from a selection, you hold down either the option on a Mac or Alt on a PC. In this case, we're going to add. So let's add the moon. I'm going to hold down the shift key and watch my cursor here as I hold down the shift key. So now you got the magic wand with a plus, and I'm going to put my cursor right on that and click once. Looks like it didn't take. Okay, there's no more dotted lines dancing around the moon there. So that's selected. Now we want to catch this little piece of sky that's peeking through the boulders. So I'm going to put my magic wand there and hold down the shift key and click. And there we go. So now we've selected all the sky here. And of course you can either cut it out, delete the sky, and I'm not going to say hit delete on the keyboard again. I am going to say go up to edit and clear. And you cut out the sky. Let's undo that. I'm going to go edit, undo, clear. Okay. I don't think I really did cover undos with you folks yet. So let me just say you can go edit, undo, and as you can see here, the shortcut keyboard command is Command Z on a Mac and Control Z on the PC. Okay, which is basically the standard undo for any almost any software out there. Command Z or Control Z. To redo, you're going to hold down Shift Command Z on a Mac, Shift Control Z on a PC. Okay? So, showed you how to delete the sky. If we wanted to paint it yellow, we could click our tool brush. We got yellow selected. We could paint the yellow sky here. Paint it yellow. You know, don't want to do that. Hit Command Z. We could change the color of the sky by coming up to Image, Adjustments, just like we did before. Come down to Hue, Saturation. Select that. We can change the hue or color. Yeah. We could change the saturation. Make it grayer. We could change the brightness. Super bright, super dark. Okay, I'm gonna hit cancel. So, as you can see, selection tools are very powerful. They allow us to do a lot of different types of edits. And when you pair selection tools with the layer system, which I will show you folks a little bit later, it is an awesome editing tool. Okay, so I've covered 3 of the major tools so far in our videos: marquee, lasso, and a magic wand. Oh, let me show you the quick selection tool right now. So I'm going to hit Command D as in dog, to deselect. The quick selection tool is sort of like the magic wand, but instead of just clicking once, you actually have to paint the selection on. So I'll show you that right now. So I'm going to hold down my left mouse button and paint across. So as you can see, I'm holding down my left mouse button and moving my mouse around, and it sort of quickly selected the whole sky already. Okay, let's try this with another picture. I'm going to hit Command D to deselect the sky around the Capitol. Let's try this now. So I'm going to start painting. And, okay, paint, paint, paint. Still holding down my left mouse button, and it got the whole sky already. Okay, but it didn't, it also included the statue and a little bit of the top of the Capitol there, as well as over here, got a little bit of the Capitol. So it's not a perfect tool. Let me try on here. So if you paint, oh, that's fast. Paint, paint. There. See, so, you could try to paint. It looks like it just keeps adding on. Let me hit Command D to deselect and try again. Not too bad. I guess it doesn't recognize this black route here. Let me try another picture here with the flower. So let's try a petal. Not too bad. Got that petal in. Let's try. Got this petal in. Well, it selected the whole flower. That's good, but it also selected the middle. I thought it would have kept going. With the first two petals, I thought it was on track to get just the petals and not the yellow middle portion, but I guess not. So that's the quick selection tool. Um, it's up to you folks if you guys want to use that tool or not. Other than me showing it to you folks right now, you will never see me use this again. Okay? I'm not particularly fond of this tool, so I will not be using the tool anymore. I do prefer the Magic Wand tool, and that's my go-to tool. Okay? So, in our next video, we're going to check out the crop tool and the eyedropper tool. Okay?